I hope we get that raise for saying that. So,
Royce, if you're listening,
good luck. You can tip me later.
welcome back, everybody, to the Liberty Quartet 30th Anniversary Video Podcast. You're watching me, Will Airasmith, along with my buddy Peyton Olive, and he is down in Benson, Arizona at the moment. He was supposed to be here locally, but his schedule got all messed up, and now he's down there. But how's the weather down there, Peyton? It's still warm, like we talked about last time?
Still pretty warm. Actually, the wind is kind of picking up now. I can hear the chimes going outside, but yeah, it's around 70s. I mean, I guess it's not hot, but it's warmer than Idaho, I guess.
Right.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. So that voice you just heard is our good friend, Mr. John Cotner. John, how are you, sir? It's good to see you.
I am great. Thanks for inviting me to come sit down and hang out with the young guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. And we've only met a few times, but and we've sung together a couple times on stage when you came up to sing with Liberty.
I think so.
Man, what a voice! I love this guy's voice. He's got such a great tone and projecting. You're so loud. You're way louder than me. But no, this whole podcast, just so you're aware, is to let all of our followers get kind of an inside look and kind of get introduced to you. We've got a lot of new people.
Reintroduced, maybe.
Reintroduced.
Some people. Yeah.
Some people may have forgotten. You never know.
It's been a long time.
But, so we have a lot of new people that have started following us recently, and they may not know who you are. Why don't you give a little background, where you came from, where you grew up at, and did you have any musical background, that kind of thing?
Well, I grew up as a preacher's kid. So my dad was a preacher's kid. Now, I tell people there's a difference between a preacher's kid and a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
A preacher's kid means you have more in your family than in your actual congregation. So we were in little tiny churches growing up, large family, small churches. And I feel like I grew up with a microphone in my hand.
Yeah.
So from the time I was little, my dad always had me on stage. Johnny, you get up there and you sing a song for these people. So I grew up singing the old hymns.
Yeah, I kind of grew up the same way. My parents had a Southern gospel group in Northeast Kansas.
Oh, wow.
And so I grew up with Southern gospel music and a microphone in my hand, too. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like I've been in church my whole life.
Yeah. Now, is your family musical as well? Is it just you or is it your whole family?
Not necessarily the whole family. I think each one of my siblings, they were involved in some sort of choir. Dad always had that requirement growing up in high school and stuff.
Yeah.
It was I was the only one that it really stuck with.
Okay.
And the one that kept pursuing it, which was kind of surprising because I hated choir in high school. I didn't want anything to do with it. I was in band and finally got to the point where mom and dad let me quit. You know? But go figure, I would pick it back up and then just keep taking it to the next level. But some of that was because I met a gentleman by the name of Royce Mitchell. So,
and we'll get back to that. It's a very important name in Liberty.
Yeah.
So you grew up singing, and did you play any instruments at all, or was it just singing?
I played trumpet in band.
Oh, okay.
I had piano lessons when I was little, but never really took to instrument besides my voice.
Yeah.
But always gravitated to harmonies. I took vocal lessons when I was in, I think, about 5th grade, and that's when the teacher said, I'm going to start teaching you how to sing harmony and listen for this harmony.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I've been singing harmony my whole life. And then I became the lead singer of Liberty, so I never even had to sing harmony. But when I was in high school, I would start getting some guys together and always loved the quartet sound, or at least multi-voice sound.
Yeah.
Very rare can you find, especially in high school, someone that can sing the bass part. So usually you have like 3 parts,
Yeah, you don't get that very often. In
high
school,
no, not at all.
I remember that.
But I loved my inspiration back then was the Imperials.
Oh, yeah.
Gaither Vocal Band. I mean, it's
Yep.
way before your guys' day.
Oh,
but,
I know who they are.
but oh man,
Peyton
I
might
know
not.
who they are.
Yeah.
I love singing that type of music and putting groups together for church specials and stuff,
Sure,
when I
sure.
was in high school. So that was fun.
Did you listen to any other music besides gospel music? Did you listen to like rock or country or
Well, growing
folk
up
music
in the 80s, I'm an 80s kid, so 80s music was a staple on my radio back then,
Yeah.
But around the house, Dad would always have some sort of, usually Southern gospel, the
Okay.
Florida Boys, Gaither Vocal Band, any Gaither stuff,
Sure.
we had 8-track tapes laying around.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So did you ever like think, okay, what I want to do is sing Southern gospel? Was that always number one in your mind, or was it just like a background type thing? Like, yeah, I sing sometimes every now and then, or was music like your thing?
Music was always something to me, but I never once
Mm-hmm.
figured that I was going to be a Southern gospel singer.
Yeah.
That was never on my radar, even though I loved singing the harmonies and as when I was young, putting those groups together. I always thought, man, someday that'd be cool to be that guy on the Imperials or something. But it was never really labeled back then Southern gospel. Imperials were not Southern gospel back then.
Right.
You
They
you
weren't.
look back now and you think,
No.
well, that's an old time group.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't labeled Southern gospel.
Yeah, you listen to them. They're definitely not that Southern style. They're definitely more of a modern, almost New York style, I want to say.
And that's when Bill Gaither, when he started the Gaither Vocal Band, he kind of brought a new sound to
Yeah.
Southern gospel.
Yeah, he did.
In fact, when he started Gaither Vocal Band, he was not even trying to market to the Southern gospel genre.
Yeah.
And it just so happened to be that it leaned that way, and he ran with it. But Peyton, I never really had an aspiration to be a Southern gospel singer. I loved to sing, and I wanted to sing. I was involved in a lot of church worship and stuff like that. But I never did once think I am going to be a Southern gospel singer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had the opportunity one day for 7 years.
Yeah.
So where's hometown for you when you were growing up?
I grew up back in the Midwest, so Illinois, Champaign, Illinois.
Okay, I know where that is.
That's where my growing up days were. We're back in that area. We moved from town to town within there. The country church type of thing. We were always moving every 2 to 3 years. We'd move to a different church.
Yeah. It's just like a military brat doing moving all over the country. Yeah.
Very, very similar.
Very
so
similar.
my formidable years were growing up in the Midwest.
So what brought you to Idaho?
Well, when I was halfway through my senior year of high school, I actually just wanted to get out, and so I had enough credits to leave early, and I joined the military.
Oh, okay.
So my parents signed for me, and I was 17 years old, and I took off for basic training.
Oh, wow.
And
Army?
Yeah, Air Force.
Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was
Air Force.
stationed down in Tucson, Arizona for 4 years, and during that time, my parents had relocated out to Idaho.
Okay.
And Christmases and vacations, I'd come up and see him, and wow, Idaho's a really pretty place. And
Yeah, it
so
is.
then when I was done with my military service at 21 years of age, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm not going to move back to Illinois, and it didn't want to go back there. My family had all relocated out.
Oh, wow.
And so I moved to Idaho.
Very cool. So what did you do in the Air Force? Did you work on planes, or were you?
No, I didn't have anything to do with planes, but all support equipment. So they actually taught me how to operate all the equipment and trucks and everything, and then I would be the instructor. I was the driving instructor.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
it was pretty much a grunt job
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
they knew I was only there for 4 years. I was just going in to get my GI Bill.
Yeah.
And so I just got to learn how to drive all sorts of equipment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Peyton, you were about to say something.
Now, did you ever make it out to the Air Force Base in Pensacola, Florida?
No, I never did. I did go to Florida one time
Yeah.
to another Air Force base over there, just for a short temporary duty assignment, but
Yeah.
never went to Pensacola.
Yeah. That's where I went to college. My family has some history back there. Just wanted
Cool. Yeah.
to ask.
So you came to Idaho after you got out of the military. What'd you do then? Did you
Well,
just find a job? And
the
Yeah.
intent was to start using my GI Bill.
Yeah.
That took a few years, so I just, took a job and immediately plugged into our local church in Boise, which at the time was Boise First Church of the Nazarene.
Okay, yeah.
And young single guy. There was a really growing singles group there, so it was really easy to plug in. And that's right after I moved there and started getting assimilated to church. That's when Royce Mitchell became the music pastor for that church.
Oh, wow.
And I was introduced to Royce, and I was like, maybe I should sing again. Because I literally, when I was in the military, I never did anything with singing.
Yeah.
For 4 years, I just kind of did my own thing.
Yeah.
And Royce kind of pulled me back in. He's like, hey, what do you think about singing in choir? And I was like, man, I like this guy. He's cool. He's young, he's hip. And so,
but he's still older than you, right? Yeah.
He is. He's exactly 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've always been 10 years apart. We've always known our birthdays are always that 10-year difference.
Wow, that's crazy. So that would mean you came out to Boise in late 80s,
1990.
early 90s, yeah.
1990 is when I came up to Boise. Yeah.
And you've been here ever since. So
been here ever since.
So you started singing in choir. Where'd you meet your lovely wife at? Did you meet her in the singles at the church?
No,
No?
well, kind of in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
But after I started getting back to school using my GI Bill, I went to Northwest Nazarene College at the time. Now it's Northwest Nazarene University.
Yeah.
And she's quite a bit younger than me. So we crossed paths there and it kind of caught my eye, but never really locked anything in until after college. She started attending our church.
Oh, okay.
So kind of with the singles group. I was still with the singles group, and then all of a sudden she started showing up and she chased me around for a couple of years till she finally caught my eye. So we met at college.
Did you get married?
Yeah, when did you get married?
So August of 1996.
Oh, wow.
So this summer will be our 30th anniversary.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
If I understand right, Royce Mitchell actually did y'all's wedding, right?
That is part of my story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Royce, I was the second wedding that he ever officiated. The first one was a couple months before that. Another couple in our singles group asked him to do their wedding.
Oh, wow.
And so, but yeah, I was a very good friends with Royce at that point. We'd known each other for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And
had he started Liberty by then? In
so
96?
yes, so there was a group of guys that started singing at church.
Yeah.
And they started calling themselves Liberty Quartet. It was just a part-time thing. Royce was still the music minister.
Yeah.
And these other three guys would sing, and then he married me in August of 1996.
Married you and your wife.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Let's clarify. So he officiated our wedding ceremony in August of 1996. In January, so 4 months later, he came to me. He's like, John, we want to take this thing full time, but the guy who's singing lead for us can't commit to that.
Yeah.
Would you be willing just to be temporary lead singer for Liberty? And I was
fill in for a
temporary
while,
for 7 years.
Yeah. That's
So
great.
how many, when that happened and you replaced Mike Peters,
Yeah.
do you remember how many dates Liberty was doing that year?
Oh, wow.
That's a good question.
That's a very good question, but I couldn't tell you. I mean, it was still, we would try to book Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and then get back in the middle of the night sometime because the three of the other guys besides Royce, we had jobs. We were still running.
Yeah.
Royce was the only one full time, but we knew we had to book enough dates to make enough money so Royce could make a living.
Right.
And so it was pretty close to what you're doing. I think you guys definitely have gotten more because we didn't start doing the week-long tours, like in Arizona and stuff for years after that.
Yeah.
So it still was very part-time, but most weekends we were gone. Usually maybe 1 or 2 weekends every 2 months we would take off so we could stay home.
Yeah. You know, and we still do that. So
Yeah.
our main schedule is mainly Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Sure.
Every now and then we'll do a Thursday or a Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, really the only difference now is we do a couple of those long 10, 12-day
Yeah.
tours.
And we started doing those later in my career
Yeah.
with Liberty.
Yeah.
We started doing those. But, you know, at the beginning, our first vehicle we were using was a Suburban. So we had Keith's Suburban with a little trailer that we would, even at the beginning, we didn't even have a trailer.
Yeah.
So we would use the back of the Suburban to put all of the equipment and product and everything in the back of the Suburban. And that's how we started. But, you know, when you're starting off too, it's a lot of work to find churches that will even host you.
Oh, yeah. They don't know who you are.
No,
No.
they have no idea who you are. So we're calling churches all over the place trying to, you know, and that's what Royce was doing. Royce's full-time job. He's just calling churches trying to get bookings and stuff. And I mean, that was a lot of work back in those days. Yeah. And then driving in a Suburban through the night, you know, to get there, to get back, you know, it was grueling. And here I was 4 months married, 4 months married, and I abandoned my wife and hit the road.
Yeah. My story is kind of similar. I got married in September of 2019.
Okay.
And then 5 months later, I'm full-time on the road with Liberty.
Wow. Yeah.
And we got married down in Kansas, and then we moved all the way up here to Idaho. We didn't know anybody.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so I'm out here on the road traveling full time. We're down in Arizona, like doing all the big tours, and we just got done with our 10-day tour down in Arizona. It was the last day. We were at the Christian church down there in Yuma.
Okay.
And it was packed. Everybody was there, but this was also the start of COVID.
Oh my gosh,
When
that's
COVID
right.
COVID hit real
forgot
hard.
about that.
COVID hit real hard in February and March.
Yeah.
We sang there in Yuma, flew home, and we stayed home for 7 months. We had no idea what we were going to do. And then we started doing all these videos and things, and I was dumb enough to say, hey, I can edit videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they put me in charge of all the social media stuff.
Well, congratulations for being dumb enough.
Right.
So.
but thankfully, you know, God is good. The whole time it was an opportunity to take our ministry in places we had never gone before.
Sure.
And that's how I see it. And just me getting into Liberty, it was just God opening doors left and right. And it was just incredible. And it's been that way ever since. So did you feel the same way when Liberty came to you?
Oh, no question. So again, as I was telling Peyton earlier, I really never had a desire to be a Southern gospel singer or anything.
Yeah.
So when he asked me to join, I was like, man, I got a lot of catching up to do. I mean, not only did I have to learn 14 songs, you know, in 2 weeks.
Right.
So luckily I was at an age where I could do that.
Yeah.
Anymore, there is no chance that's going to happen anymore. But I also felt like I was behind the learning curve on stylistically singing Southern gospel music. And these guys, you know, I remember back in the day, there was a lot more traditional sound even than what you guys have.
Yeah.
Now it was more of the true traditional, you know, cathedrals type of sound. And so I just remember I was like a sponge. I mean, listening to, you know, Ralph. Ralph was a Southern gospel junkie. Ralph Yerke's our very first tenor singer for Liberty.
Yeah.
He was a Southern gospel junkie, and I mean, he would just always tell me stories of Southern gospel, and we would always talk about stylistic things. Royce, who was so good musically, I mean, he was a vocal coach for me before that.
Oh, wow.
Let alone when we got into when I got into Liberty and singing. To learn how to be a lead singer of a Southern gospel quartet, I felt like the first 2 years I grew exponentially. I mean, I had to gain confidence. You know, I had to understand how to blend and how to carry a song, and Royce was instrumental in just kind of teaching me along the way, hey, we need to do this, we need to work on that. And then also getting into the recording studio and listening to yourself. I'd never been in a recording studio before. So suddenly I'm on a microphone like this with headphones on. I'm like, wow, that's what I sound like?
Yeah.
That sounds horrible, And so it just
I don't
gave
know
me,
anybody that likes their own voice.
Oh, no way. So it gave me a drive just to learn and get better and get better.
Yeah.
Once we graduated up to a conversion van. So we finally got rid of Keith's Suburban, and we actually bought, I think it was one of Liberty's ever first purchases, was a green conversion van.
Oh, wow.
So it's a little more comfortable for us, but it had a TV up in the back.
Oh, man, living high on the hog.
Oh,
there,
it
man.
had a VCR.
Yeah.
It had a VCR with the TV.
Yeah.
No, it was fantastic.
That's
so
awesome.
Suddenly, our guru
Wait, her bus had that.
yeah,
Right.
our guru Southern gospel guy, Ralph, he brought his whole box of VHS tapes
Oh, wow.
of all these old cathedrals and Blackwood Brothers, and I mean, for hours I would just sit there and watch them.
Yeah.
And just listen, and I could see how excited these guys were. They wanted to sound like that, and that taught me way more than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Just
Just sitting there
sitting there,
soaking it all in. Yeah.
And so, and I was listening to some of the songs that we had in our repertoire anyway, and I was like, oh, I need to be doing it that way,
Yeah.
And anyway, it was a really cool time of growth. I never ever dreamed that I would be doing that, and at the time it just happened to stumble into it because I was only supposed to be there temporarily, but I took it seriously. I wanted to be the best that I could be for Liberty, and so there was a lot of growth back in those days, and maturing of your voice. It felt to me, I felt like it took me about 4 years to finally get into my groove and feel like then I had the confidence to actually carry a song, is what it felt like to me. Now, I had to carry songs before that, but it really felt like,
you just weren't comfortable with it.
I wasn't. Until once we started getting to some bigger songs. I mean, again, we were singing a lot of the old traditional stuff, and once we started getting into some bigger songs, the very first time that we kind of did, it wasn't an original song, but a original song written for us was The Lighthouse.
Okay.
And I remember when the guy first brought it to us, sat down on a piano, he's playing it, and we're just, I'm like, yeah, I remember that old song, not really thinking much about it. And I remember Royce being, John, you need to make this your own. I really need you to make this your own. That took a while. Yeah. It took a while. I mean, we would sing the song and I'm like, just kind of going through the motions of it. But then it finally, after all of that came together. Yeah. Confidence and all this came together. Then I finally grabbed that song and felt like I made it my own. And I felt like that's when I took that big step forward in becoming the lead singer.
Yeah.
Royce, I think I can speak for most of the people in the quartet that Royce Mitchell is probably the greatest coach I've ever had.
No question.
He's very good at knowing what is expected of you, but also making you comfortable while doing it, and gives you room to grow, to become the singer and the person you're supposed to be. Royce is very good at that aspect when it comes to coaching, and I'm sure he played a very a big role in you coming to your own, like you said, with making that song your own. But I'm sure just that part in general, I'm sure, as for all of us, Royce Mitchell really gave you
and you hit the nail. You hit the nail on the head. Liberty would not be where it's at without Royce and his musical influence. Yeah. But you're right. His knowledge of music is so good, and it would blow me away. Now, again, when I was with Liberty, I was a lot younger, so a lot more immature, and I would have my ideas on stuff. I look back now and I laugh. Yeah. But I specifically remember being in some practices, and Royce is saying, "Okay, now we need to. You're missing this note a little bit," and I go, "What do you mean missing it?" And he says, well, you're going down on just this one note in the middle of the whole song, this one note. You're hitting the same note as Keith. It's the baritone note. You're hitting that note. And I'm like, but we're in the middle of this. No one's going to hear that. And it's not like it's a bad note. It's just, it may not be there, but who's going to care? And he goes, I care, and he says, I hear that you're missing that note. And I'm like, wow, this guy can hear all that. He's amazing. Royce really is. And his knowledge of music and not that his drive for perfection pushed everything with Liberty, because it wasn't, but his musical perfection that he wanted out of us, that's what taught me how to sing, really, is having him pour himself into me musically.
I'd have to say the same thing. He's just so knowledgeable about everything that he does, and with his vocal range is incredible too. Oh yeah, and he can sing well, and you kind of have to be if you're a choir director. You have to be able to sing with the sopranos and the altos, and
he was amazing as a choir director and a worship leader at church. Oh my goodness,
and he was
incredible.
He still does that. He's just got that way about him that we'll start doing congregationals with, in concert with the people there in the audience, and he just starts going to town.
That's because
effortless for him.
That's because it comes from here.
Yeah,
he worships from his heart.
Yeah,
and so I have never. And trust me, I watched a lot of VHS tapes of Southern gospel groups throughout the years.
Yeah,
I've never once seen a bass singer like Royce. Yeah, not just stylistically, not just talent wise, just with the heart and the passion that he sings with.
Yeah.
Like Royce. And that's, I've traveled a lot of miles with Liberty throughout the years and been in a lot of different concert venues and met a lot of groups out there. We started growing and singing with a lot of these groups.
Yeah.
And the heart that Liberty has is because of Royce, and that's purposeful because of his relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I got nothing to add to that.
I hope we get that raise for saying that. So,
Royce, if you're listening,
good luck. You can tip me later.
Hello, everyone. Just wanted to take a few moments of your time out of this podcast and tell you about our 30th anniversary celebration coming up in September 18th through the 20th there in Meridian, Idaho. We want you to come join us for 3 days of fellowship, memories, and music and celebration of Liberty Quartet's 30 years of ministry. We have invited all the former members of Liberty to come join us, and it's sure to be a fun time. On Friday the 18th, we will have a welcome banquet, and it's going to have special thanks and awards, and that's going to start at 6 p.m. On Saturday the 19th, we're going to have a brunch in the morning, and we're going to have an outdoor barbecue in the pavilion in the evening. So we want you to join us for that. Seating for both of those events on Friday and Saturday are going to be limited, so you want to sign up early if you want to be there. Finally, the big concert will be Sunday evening at 6 o'clock, and we invite you all to join us. Doors open at 5. Everything's going to be held at Valley Shepherd Church of the Nazarene there in Meridian. For more information and signups, you can go to our website. It's www.libertyquartet.com/events, and you want to scroll down to the 30th anniversary picture. Just click on it and it'll tell you everything you need to know. We also invite you to sign up for our weekly email newsletter and to follow us on all social media: Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our tour schedule is also on our website. Go to libertyquartet.com/tour, or you can get the Bands in Town app on your smart device and follow us that way. All right, folks. Thanks for joining me. Now let's get back to the podcast. So you joined in 1996?
January of 1997 was when Royce came to me. So February, he gave me 2 weeks to learn 14 songs. I think my first concert was February of 1997.
Okay.
And
then you were with Liberty for
7 years.
7 years. So
you left over 7.
You left in 2004.
2004. We were pregnant with our second child.
Oh, okay.
At the time, and that's when my wife's like, "Isn't it about time?"
Yeah.
And there was also getting pressure there. I was the last one in Liberty that still had a business to run.
Uh-huh.
So we had gone full time with all the other members of Liberty at the time, which was. At that time was Paul Ellis, and who was
Jason was tenor there for a while.
But that was after he left. He came and left because then Paul came in as baritone. Then Paul stepped up to tenor when when Jason left. And
Well, Dan was
Had
right
to
after
have been
that one.
Doran.
that's when Dan came on.
Had to
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, no, because Dan traveled with us for a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Dan came in and was me, Dan, Paul, and Royce for 1 year.
Gotcha.
For 1
Gotcha.
year, yeah. So anyway, I was the last one still trying to run a business, and my wife said, this is all we've known, because since we've been married, you've been on the road with Liberty.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is our second child now, and your business is growing. And Royce and I had been in this conversation. We felt the tension and just the time commitment. It was time for me to step away.
Right.
It was.
Right.
And we all knew it.
Yeah.
I hated it. I didn't like to do it. I felt like it was abandoning some of my heart, some of your identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I was known as the lead singer of Liberty. So
Yeah.
you're abandoning that identity. Now that's against the gospel. God doesn't want us to create our identity in something else. So I had to struggle with that myself. But abandoning that and getting off the road so I could just dedicate myself to my business and to my family was needed at the time. And Royce had said, "John, we're taking this to the next level. I need someone full time to come in."
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned your business, because you do a lot of building homes, from what I understand. Is that how it started?
It's how it started. Yeah. When I joined Liberty, I worked part-time and went to college.
Uh-huh.
So I was in college during that time, taking business classes at Boise State.
Okay.
And while I was on the road, my father-in-law approached me and said, "Hey, what are you going to do with that business degree?"
Yeah.
It's like, something in housing, I mean, I love houses. I always thought I was going to be an architect till I realized that an architect just sat in an office drawing all day long, and I'm not an office person. And so he's the one that pushed me to be a home builder. That's what his profession was.
Okay.
And
So
in 1998, in the middle of
Yeah.
Singing with Liberty, I formed my first company, my LLC, started building houses while I was on the road with Liberty, and that's what really took off for us.
Okay. So you're mainly more of like a contractor, or are you part of, you're part of the building that house from start to finish? Like,
I'm the
designed
general
until...
contractor. So we design it all the way up through. I've grown my business now to where I have many levels. I do a lot of land developing now. So I go buy farms,
Oh, okay.
put in infrastructure, put in subdivisions, and then we'll start building the houses. So I have, project managers under me that manage the individual house
Gotcha.
projects.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm more involved in the, locking down land, putting in the entitlements, the infrastructure, and then letting my guys build the houses.
Gotcha.
But our houses are so big and expensive anymore. We only build a handful a year. It's not like I'm not a huge builder. We just build a handful a year.
Yeah.
So.
That must have been really hard a couple of years ago when lumber was at
goodness.
a premium.
Yeah. Well, everybody just had to pay for it.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So your job literally now is to literally lay the foundation to get these houses built, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I actually spent a little bit of time in construction doing commercial painting. That's what I did when I found Liberty.
Very good.
I was doing commercial painting and painting businesses and houses and indoors and outdoors and power washing and doing all that lovely, wonderful stuff that's great for your lungs. And so I know quite a bit about the construction aspect of everything, and I still find myself walking into a building and immediately looking up at the corners, trying to see if they cut in the corners right.
Yeah.
So, you said you left Liberty in 04.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to,
Oh boy, here it
push
comes.
any buttons here, but I just want to let you know that I was born in 04.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah, so was my son. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you left Liberty, did you stop singing, or were you still singing every night, singing in church,
Sure.
or did you take a break from singing for a while?
What was funny is my gap of singing after I left Liberty lasted about 1 month.
Oh wow!
So as soon as let's back up. When Royce decided to take Liberty full time back at the end of 1996, right after he performed our wedding ceremony, he left and hit the road. The church at that time asked if I would step up and fill his shoes to lead worship and the choir and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I did. I mean, it was volunteer. It wasn't a paid position, but
Yeah.
yes, in the interim. So I stepped into an interim status at that church, leading worship and working with the choir. And then Royce asked me to come on the road. So I had to leave the same church that he just did. So when I got back off the road, that same church under a new pastor now in 2004, they asked me to come back and to do worship full time again.
Okay.
And so when I got off the road with Liberty, I actually went back to that church and resumed where I had left off. They no longer had, well, they did have a choir back then, but we were in the middle of a transition back then.
Gotcha.
But I stepped back into a worship leading role and did that full time.
Yeah.
While I'm running my business, but at least I didn't have to be on the road.
Right,
So
right.
my wife was good with it.
Yeah.
Although she never saw me on Thursday nights or Sundays, working with the band. But I've ever since then, Peyton, I've still done a lot of singing. So I was doing full-time worship leading once the church grew to a certain point that I told him, we're going to have to, we're doing multiple services. You're going to have to bring in a full-time guy for this. We just grew too fast, in a couple year period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I was able to step back, but ever since then, I've still been able to help, lead worship a couple Sundays a month, things like that. So I've stayed involved in worship leading for the last 21 years,
Okay.
22 years.
And you're going to Rock Harbor.
Rock Harbor Church,
Yeah, yeah.
And now I'm on the leadership team there. I'm one of the elders there as well.
Okay. And you mentioned
Scott
Scott. We were
Pergandy,
talking beforehand before we started recording. Scott Pergandy is the
Production manager.
now at that
Rock
church.
Harbor. So it's all come full circle. 'Cause
Yeah.
Scott was our very first mixologist, if you want to call it. He's the one that recorded us way back when we were doing our original CDs with Liberty back in the day. We would actually go down to the Vineyard Church in Garden City in Boise, and Scott would be set up there, and that's where we would record our CDs. So Scott would record our CDs way back then. Now come full circle, he's working at the church that I go to, and he's our production manager for everything that happens there at that church.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing how everything comes full circle.
Yeah.
I do want to kind of wrap this up a little bit, but I just wanted to ask you a question about Ralph. Do you have any? Because I never met Ralph. He passed away before I joined Liberty. Obviously, Peyton's never met him either. But we always hear these stories about Ralph of, he could sell an air conditioner to an Eskimo,
gosh.
He was such a great salesman.
Yeah.
Do you have any funny and we already know about the denture, the teeth story. Do you have any other stories about Ralph?
Ralph was the butt of a lot of jokes. All right. So when you're involved, and this is the first thing that I learned, traveling with Royce, everybody gets to assume a certain identity.
Yeah.
So back in my day, I was the young and dumb guy, kind of like Peyton is now.
Yeah.
But I was the young guy who didn't know anything, and so he'd make fun of me in concerts. I got socks in my drawer older than John, and the typical. Well, Ralph was always the old guy.
Yeah.
And so Ralph got the brunt of a lot of the old guy jokes, but he played into it really well as well. And we have lots of stories of Ralph falling asleep in the bus, or not even on the bus. This is back when we had the van. Ralph falling asleep in the van, using tons of Aquanet hairspray and stuff like that. But the story of I'm just going to go back to it. The story of the dentures or the false teeth. So Royce had lots of jokes about Ralph. Ralph wears a toupee. Ralph has false teeth. None of it was ever true.
Yeah.
But he was good with joking with him.
Yeah.
And so we always laughed about Ralph's teeth falling out, and I bet there was never any proof until the one Sunday morning that we were able to be up on stage in a pretty large church on a Sunday morning. And I remember the stage was very high, and it had all those steps that went off the stage down toward the altars, just a series of steps, and crowded room. we were getting ready to sing a song, and it was Ralph's song, actually, titled I'm Gonna Live Forever, an old cathedral song.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the song that Ralph loved to sing. And so Royce had me introducing it. So I'm standing up front, the guys are behind me, and I don't remember what it was, but I said something funny, and I heard Ralph behind me kind of, letting out a little haw, one of those like that.
Yeah.
Well, I heard this and all of a sudden I saw something flying past me and go down those steps. And all at once, I've never seen Ralph move so fast. He went running down the steps and grabbed whatever it was and shoved it back in his mouth. And I'm telling you what, we lost it. Because there was never confirmation that Ralph even had dentures or false teeth or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he had a bridge.
Oh,
he had a bridge
okay.
that he had some teeth knocked out when he was little.
Oh, okay.
We never knew it. We never knew it until they went flying past my ear on a Sunday morning. And so we're standing back now, and the song gets started, and Ralph's starting to sing, and it's a song where me, Keith, and Royce are doing we're a lot of backgrounds, a lot of oohs and ahs.
Yeah.
And we're back there, and we are crying, just trying to keep we're trying not to laugh so hard, but that it just completely wasted us on a Sunday morning. But that's my one Ralph. I love Ralph Yerkes. He was a true blessing to be around. Could he sell an Eskimo, an ice cube? Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he was a salesman his whole life, but man, his passion for Southern gospel and his passion for being able to sing the music that he loved.
Yeah.
Unheard of. It was fantastic, and he loved pouring into me. I mean, that's the thing that I look back, and again, I was young at that time. You don't really value that until later when you look back. But the nights that I got to sit and just talk with Ralph and ask questions, and I'm just getting started in a business, and he actually tried recruiting me to sell life insurance before I became a builder. That's a whole nother story. But just the time spent with him, looking back, was very, very, very precious.
That's incredible. Yeah, I really wish I would have met him. He was such a great guy from what I was told, and just loved everybody, and he just
this was
talked
his
to
dream.
anybody.
His dream was to sing Southern gospel. It was too bad that he didn't do it till later in his life. He was in some quartets, in church and stuff.
Yeah.
But singing with Liberty was literally probably the highlight of his life.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for coming out here and
reminiscing
and chatting with us a little bit. I look forward to singing with you in September.
Well, I hope so.
At the 30th. Yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I've heard something about it, but that's all I've had. I'll probably find out about August is when Royce will finally say, "Oh yeah, show up at this date."
Right.
We just kind of expect that anymore.
It's at Valley Shepherd Church of the Nazarene.
Okay. I think I do actually have it in my calendar, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I love singing with the guys. I love being able to hop in every once in a while and come up there on stage. I miss the harmonies.
Yeah.
I miss the camaraderie. When we got together this last year up at Trinity Pines, man, that was just a lot of fun.
It was so much fun.
That was a lot of fun.
It was special.
I loved every second of that.
A lot of laughs at that time. So hopefully we'll be able to get together and laugh in front of a bunch of people and share some stories about each other again.
Yeah, that'll be great. Well, thank you so much, guys, for watching yet another episode of the 30th anniversary Liberty Quartet podcast. Thank you so much for Peyton for joining us, and thank you once again for coming out and talking with us. It was
my
a lot
pleasure.
of fun, John.
I'm glad I'm still young enough to remember stuff.
Right? Hopefully we can do this again. That'd be great.
I would love it. Yeah.
So, all right, we'll catch you guys on the next one. I believe Keith Wagner is up next, and we're going to be chatting with him for a little bit.
Good luck with that.
I know, right? I'm hardly going to get a word in. But all right, we'll see you guys later. Thank you.